brought out fruit for your provision. He has put ships in your service, sailing through the sea by his command. And likewise he has put the rivers in your service. He has also put the sun and the moon in their orbits to be of service to you. And he made the night and the day in your service. So that all of the things of this world were created in the service of humankind. Human beings have this world before them for their benefit. Not to abuse it, to use it for their benefit. We benefit from it, and we are held accountable with how we use it. As the Prophet ﷺ said, the world is beautiful and green, and Allah, be He exalted, has made you governors over it to see how you will act. Nature is not to be conquered. You know, there's another philosophy. People have this idea of we must conquer nature. So we have to climb to the top of Mount Everest. Why? How many people fall off Everest and die every year? You know, what drives people to do this stupid act? To climb to the top of Everest. What is the purpose? What is the value of this? No, we must conquer nature. We are the conquerors of nature. Hey, no. This is not the correct way. Nature has been submitted to us. We use it for our benefit. We take from it what is useful. We look after it. We have a responsibility to take care of it. We don't look at it as a challenge to us that we have to defeat it. No. Allah has submitted the animals to us. He has submitted the world to us, the seas, the air, so we can fly in our planes and etc., etc. And to stress this point, Prophet ﷺ had said, surely Allah has enjoined goodness for everything. So when you execute someone, do it in a good way. And when you slaughter an animal, do it in a good way. Let every one of you sharpen his knife and allow the slaughtered animal to die comfortably. You know, Muslims slaughter animals. They cut the neck of the animals. Now, this has become a cause in the world. You have people who say, we shouldn't be eating animals in the first place. You know, we should be vegetarians. We shouldn't be eating. And they've made this a big issue. Of course, we need to know what is behind that argument. Of course, they will come up with all kinds of, arguments about how an animal, when it eats grass, all of its vegetable, it turns it into so much benefit in its own body, muscle and etc. When we eat that muscle and we benefit from it, it's only a small proportion in relationship to the benefit that was in the grass. They say better we get the benefit from the animal, the plant kingdom, rather than go through this route. This is the argument, right? Hey, Allah gave us teeth to chew animal meat. That's what He gave it to us for. If it was not for us to eat animal meat, what did He give us? Then we were saying God is just doing something ridiculous, useless. No, He gave us the ability to break down both vegetable and animal material, flesh and meat and vegetation in our systems. We are omnivores. The cows, they can only eat vegetation. If you give them meat, their bodies can't break it down. The carnivores, the tiger, the lion, etc., you give them vegetable matter, they can't eat it. We are omnivores. God made us that way. So that argument falls through. And really what is at the bottom of that argument is really the Hindu belief in reincarnation. Know that that is really at the bottom. It's not brought out in the surface, but that is in the bottom. How? Why? Because according to Hindu belief, when a person dies, if he has lived a good life, he comes back up the ladder. Right? He dies, comes back, good, up the ladder. Each time he lives a good life, he goes up the ladder until he reaches the top, the Brahmin level. And if he's good when he dies, then he goes through moksha and becomes one again with God. Right? He reunites, because they believe our soul is divine, it reunites with the divine. Now, what happens if you are bad? Then you go down the ladder. Right? You go down, 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 till you reach the bottom. Right? The Shudras. And then the untouchables, the outcasts, up beyond the caste. And then after you run out of human beings, then what happens? then you come back in the animal kingdom. So that goat you might be eating may be grandpa. So this is why we have this thing, no, don't eat the animals. Why? Because maybe they're grandparents, you know? So we don't have this belief. So let us not get fooled by this subtle line of argumentation. No, we eat the animals, how many Americans, the cow is so holy, etc. in India, and Americans are eating, millions of beef burgers every day. Anyway, the point is that on one hand, we eat the meat and we slaughter the animal. Some people raise the objection. Bridget Bardot, she made a big thing about it a couple of years back in France, because every time Eid al-Adha would come around, all these French Muslims would be gathering up all the sheep and cutting the necks of the sheep. Why killing all the sheep? Horrible. They're like bursting Muslims, cutting necks of animals. This kind of thing. Well, the point is this, if you're going to kill an animal, you should do it in a humane way, the way we do it. We stun the animal, and when they're unconscious, that's when we cut their necks. Right? Guess what? Their argument of being humane is a lie. There are two methods, right? They have two main methods. One is the chickens, right? The chickens, what they do, because they're going to be killing 1,000 chickens at one time. So they put them all in this conveyor belt, they swing them across over a bath of water, they drop their feet into the water, just the feet, then they put electrical current into the water, zaps them, and then they put them along, cut their heads. I said, this is humane, because they're unconscious when we cut their heads off. Have you ever stuck your finger in a socket? Have you ever been shocked before? You think this is painless? Hey, if you are shocked to unconsciousness, this is a very painful thing. This is not humane. It's painful. The other way is what they call the stun gun. They have a gun which has in it a piston. When they fire it, no bullet comes out, and an iron piston comes out with a spring which brings it back again. So the piston hits the cows for the bigger animals in their head, bump, and knocks them unconscious, then they cut the neck. Hey, you know what that's like? That's like somebody taking a baseball bat or a cricket bat and whacking you on the side of your head, you fall unconscious. Hey, is that not a painful thing? You think this is humane? It's a joke. It's not humane at all. Their methods are very cruel. Very cruel. Our method of sharpening that knife till it's razor sharp and cutting the neck of the animal is very humane, because the animal can't even feel it. It's like a razor blade. You ever had a razor blade? You cut yourself, you don't even know you cut it until the blood comes. Right? So the animal doesn't even feel it. We don't cut the head right off so it goes into the spine and then shock into the animal. No, just cutting the jugular vein. The animal doesn't feel it. His heart pumps out the blood. No blood goes to his head. He slips into unconsciousness and he dies. This is the humane way. Know it and defend it, because people, we get very defensive. We think that their arguments are really strong. When you look at it, really, they're not. So, Islam stresses, to be humane to animals. Furthermore, Prophet Muhammad even said, a man, talking about the time of the past, a man became thirsty while walking, so he climbed down a well and drank from it. On coming out, he saw a thirsty dog panting and eating mud. The man said to himself, this animal is thirsty as I was, is as thirsty as I was. So he climbed back down the well, filled his shoe with water, then he held his shoe between his teeth, climbed back out and gave the dog water, and Allah thanked him and forgave him and put him in paradise. So even the dog, which Muslims normally, we don't keep them in our homes, etc. But in being kind to these animals, there is purification and forgiveness. The companions had even asked the Prophet ﷺ about it. And it's